This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Shirts for the Scene. Head over to the popkoproject.com and you can purchase your favorite band tee. We are raising money for the local artist in northeastern Pennsylvania whose income was drastically affected by COVID-19 since the world shut down all the way back in March of last year. Hard to believe we've been going through this for almost a year now, but that's why this fundraiser is so important. Artists and musicians' income has been next to nothing, and by buying a t-shirt on the online store, your purchase will directly have an impact as the proceeds go to the band whose shirt you are buying. There are over 100 bands, artists, and venues to choose from, but the store will be closing at the end of March. So go to thepopkoproject.com and purchase your shirt today. That's thepopkoproject.com and click the link for Shirts for the Scene. And Shirts for the Scene is made possible by Axelrad Screen Printing in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Visit them online at axelradarmy.com. My guests today have been making music together for about 20 years now. They've got a new EP coming out this Friday, March 5th, called Departures, which will be available on all the streaming services. We talk about recording the new EP and the story behind it. We also get into some of our favorite bands from the late 90s and early 2000s, the passive-aggressive power that MySpace gave us, what could have been with Lady Gaga, Stefan harassing Max Bemis of the band Say Anything, and to close out the show, we'll premiere a new track from the upcoming EP called The Ashes. Some beers were had on this one, so bear with us. Welcome to the show, Stefan and Pat of the band Goodnight, Captain. Live. What's up?
All right. What's going on?
Popko, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for this because I've known of you two for a long time. I've played the music, both Goodnight Captain and Pat stuff on my show when I had a show. But I've never actually seen you guys like face to face. Well, face to face.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Well, I mean, I think we may have met briefly because I used to work at one of your stomping grounds is Time Shamrock. I used to work for Mark Hoover there. And,
maybe.
Yeah. So it might have been I might have left like right before you got there though. But yeah, I think I remember stopping in the studio one time for something. And I think you were doing your show. It was like you and Ferg in the studio. So,
oh well, then yeah, we definitely saw each other. Well, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
But we are here today to talk about the upcoming EP by Goodnight Captain, which will be Friday, March 5th. Correct? All right.
Yep.
Sweet. And I've had the pleasure of listening to the songs already, so I'm pumped for you guys. I'm excited for you guys.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited. So,
well, first, before we get started, are you guys drinking? Yeah. It is Friday night when this is being recorded. Are you having a beer?
Oh my God, yeah.
We got to.
Being a little gentleman.
Yeah. What do you got?
I got some Guinness in a can. It's got the little ball inside.
Oh, nice.
That's a bold move.
Rattle? Can we
not
rattle
on
the microphone?
I don't think you can hear that. You can't. No, I'd have to drink some more. I'll rattle it when I'm done.
All right. That'll indicate you need another.
That's a bold move, drinking right out of the can. I don't know if I've ever done that. I should
have got a glass, right?
Yeah, you get a glass and you dump it straight up.
Yeah.
And let it fall out.
I don't know.
Oh, Pat.
Half-assing it over here.
Pat.
The amateur hour over at the McGlynn house.
Good thing this isn't a beer podcast.
I know.
What about you?
What do you guys got?
The Two-Hearted Ale that I'm drinking over here. So this has kind of been my go-to lately. I like this.
Okay. I'm drinking a Sam Adams Wicked Hazy. Not to be confused with the Sam Adams Wicked Easy, which for those of you who don't know, I guess we'll give some beer knowledge on this podcast. The Wicked Easy is actually just the Sam 76 repackaged, but they're very transparent about it. They actually put that on the 6-pack case.
Really?
I appreciate.
Like in fine print?
Yeah. I appreciate that though, because I mean, it's no secret that, or maybe it is to some, that beer companies, if they put a beer out and they make a ton of it, it doesn't sell well, they will just repackage it. They'll give it a new name, new label, all that kind of stuff to try and get it out. And Sam Adams did that, but they just but they were transparent about it, which I appreciate.
They owned up to it. Yeah.
Nice. They weren't too sneaky about it. I like the 76. I don't mind it. Do you not care for it too much?
It was fine. It was. It didn't blow me away. But.
See, what I use is I don't know. You might use this too. Is I like to try like different kinds of beers, new beers when I go out to the store, and I use that Untapped app, and I use that a lot. And just go kind of by the ratings and what I'm kind of like feeling like at the moment there. And that it's weird because like I stand in front of the beer case on my phone for like 5 minutes, and like everybody else meanwhile knows what they want, and it's like I'm like a kid in the candy store.
Yeah, I have this place close by. It's Plaza Beverage in Pittston, and they have a fantastic craft beer selection. And I often am stuck there for like several minutes, like 15, 20 minutes, just looking. So I got, I picked up a Southern Tier strawberry creamsicle or strawberry dream. It's like a creamsicle, or not a creamsicle. It's a strawberry like milkshake IPA. I had the creamsicle prior to that, and it was really very good. So I grabbed this one today.
Oh, nice. I'll have to try that.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have it with me now, though. I have a backup. My backup is a Dogfish Head 90 minute. I don't want to screw around tonight. Let's go hard.
That's right.
I already fell asleep once.
Oh man.
We'll wake you up if you fall asleep during the
podcast. I was sitting there. I'm like, I need a 10-minute, like, just a refresher.
Like, Johnny, wake up. Your show. You're doing a podcast.
I doubt I will fall asleep on you guys. So
I hope not.
Yeah. So
thanks.
Let's get into it. We're going to play a song from the EP to close out the show. I know you guys sent me, you had asked me to play, what song was it?
Apocalypse Girl.
Yes. You did. And I was listening to the EP, and I'm like, you know what? Is it The Ashes or just Ashes? Okay.
The Ashes. Yep.
The song The Ashes, I think, is a standout, in my opinion. Now, I don't know anything, so maybe I'm wrong, but that's what we're going to do, if that's okay.
Cool. Yeah, that works for us.
It's your show. I mean, it's up to you guys. If you want me to play Apocalypse Girl, I will play that one.
No,
that's cool.
We both decided we're cool. We want, if that's what stood out to you, hopefully, our thought process behind that, and Pat, correct me if I'm wrong, was, hopefully it'll stand out to other people and kind of entice them to listen to the rest of the collection of songs that we put out. So,
yeah.
Well, regardless, make sure you check this out on Friday the 5th. I'm assuming it'll be on all the streaming services.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp.
All the good ones.
It's the one we want you to go to. But
sure.
Yeah, it'll be on everything.
Yeah, LimeWire.
Yeah. Kazaa.
Get your computer virus.
We'll give you a nice old computer virus with our download of our EP.
That's actually the bonus version.
You get it? Free virus with purchase.
You can listen to this album, then you'll never listen to another album again. Your computer will break.
Your computer will cease to turn on. You're welcome.
Yep.
It's a good idea. It's never been done before.
No.
We're pioneers. We're forging.
Yeah.
You can't get sued. We'll just do a what do you call it now? Just what do you call it? I forget what the word is. I'm very tired. But let's get into it. So I've been playing your songs for a while now, and I think one of the songs, I forget what it's called, that I played on my show before.
Drive Away.
Goodnight, Captain.
Yeah.
Drive Away.
Drive Away. Yep. That's on this EP, and I feel like there's one more that not made the cut.
Yeah, you played Outer Space.
Yes.
That was
on there too?
It's not on the EP. No,
okay.
We it was going to be on the EP. We kind of decided to leave it off for now and, maybe use it for something down the line. But
Okay.
Yeah, felt like more of a cohesive thing without it, so we hit the cutting room floor.
Okay. Yeah. Save it for later.
Yeah.
But so what's the concept behind this project? Obviously, I said Pat before, like you've got your project, and I'm not sure if you were in other bands.
Yeah, we both played together in Blinded Passenger.
Okay.
And Losing Caulfield before that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Pat and I have been in a band pretty much since since middle school, right?
Yeah, probably like 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, off and on in bands, putting up with each other and still making music for that long. So,
I mean, I guess there's something there, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the EP. I mean, you've been working on it for what, over a year now, or just about a year?
Almost, I would say 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Since, the first time we actually, I think, conceptualized the first song, which later turned out to be Drive Away, was when our two families went on vacation together. And I think that was about 2 years ago, right, Pat? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't.
Yeah, I think we released that first version of Drive Away about like a year and a half ago. So yeah, probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah. So we worked on that. We came up with the roots, the bones of the song. That vacation, Pat, had called me up and he's like, "Oh, you want to bring your guitar?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess we can. It'd be hard because he had just Patrick at the time, right? Or did you have Joseph too?
I can't remember. Yeah, they were both around. They were both there.
So he had Patrick and Joseph. We had just my daughter, and at the time my wife was pregnant at the time. I remember, right?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, she was.
Hopefully she won't watch this.
Time, and I didn't know if we could, do what we would be able to do with, the kids running around. So I was like, I don't know, it might be too much of a hassle. He's like, I'll bring it down anyway. So we brought our guitars down with recording equipment. And when we put the kids to bed, me and him stayed up, and his wife and my wife, who are good friends, kind of went in another room, hung out, and we just kind of created the bones, the structure of Drive Away. And then since then, we just kind of embellished on it more and more and more. And then we were like, "Oh, do you want to start writing music together?" And I think that's pretty much, there it's just history, So
I also just want to point out too, like we brought recording equipment with us, right? Whereas like when we first started playing together, we would get together and do our own demos and stuff. I would have to lug a Gateway 2000 like huge computer monitor and the tower over to his parents' house, and we'd be down in the basement, and now we can just like bring a laptop and a little interface and plug it.
That's so crazy. I remember that. I remember doing that and like spending so much time.
I used to like be carrying it across Kaiser Avenue, a big like computer tower, walking across.
I think it's also funny that you're like, "Oh yeah, bring your guitar." And you're kind of like, "I don't know," but then the whole like recording equipment comes.
Yeah, but then we just do the whole studio. So no, everything is so compact now. So we just brought like a laptop and a little. What I'm actually using right now is just like a Focusrite, interface, and we plugged in like both of our guitars, and we had a microphone, and just kind of
went wild stallions.
Yeah, riffed off each other pretty much. Yeah, cool wild stallions.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, thank you for using your equipment. This might be the best sounding podcast that I've done, and I'm 23 in. So,
nice. Big
yeah. So I mean, it's tough. I mean, I'm doing this over Zoom, and not everyone has access to like good equipment.
Right.
So it's not a knock on anyone who's been a guest of mine.
No.
But,
it's just we're fortunate enough to be able to have this, so we figured why not use it. When I got with you earlier, I was like, what do we need for this Zoom call? You're like, well, it would be a plus if you used like somewhat of a professional microphone. So we're like, okay. And we just happen to have it because this is, to me, kind of piggybacking back to the album. I'm kind of thrilled about just the sound quality, the way it came out, because I feel like it's for an amateur recording sounds like past my expectations. I don't know about you, Pat, but like for doing it just on our own at home, it really shows what just about anyone can do now with just a laptop and an interface and, some musical abilities. So
this was all done by you guys, that you didn't like go to a studio?
No.
Once.
It's an investment for us. Pat made some, investments on his end, and I made some investments on my end to make it happen. And, once you start going too, I think you kind of get that itch that you want to scratch, like new pieces of gear, new pieces of equipment, just to make the sound quality like better overall. And, it just us over time, over the years, building up like our equipment to be able to do this. And, I think Pat even said to me at one point, he's like, can you imagine like us being like high school kids having this stuff at our fingertips like back then?
It'd be unreal if we had like all the time we had back then and the equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. But
yeah, how about that? It's funny to think about. You're just talking about, carrying your computer tower across the street. Now yeah, it's wild. It's funny how things change.
Yeah.
It feels like
pretty soon we'll just have a recording studio is like built into us.
Yeah, into your arms.
Oh my God.
Plug it in.
What an obnoxious thought. Imagine it's like just a stranger walking down the street and you have to listen to like
well, wasn't there? I remember on the news like not too long ago, I saw like a truck driver got arrested because he was like had a recording studio in his truck. And like he was like an 18-wheeler truck, like and he was like driving around and like recording shit. Man.
What's wrong with that?
Driving around and what was he doing?
He was driving his truck, and he was like recording music like while he was driving on the highway.
While he was driving,
while he was driving, that's not safe.
What if it kept him up though? These truck drivers are on the road for like so long. Like if he's like using his motor skills to like
make some sick beats.
Yeah. Instead of driving past and like giving the gesture to honk the horn, you're just like grooving to a little original truck driving music.
Yeah.
What scares me for technology is like they're saying that we'll be able to eventually know. There won't be like a way to like lie. Like we'll know what other people are thinking.
That's
like their thoughts.
Creepy.
That I don't want anyone knowing what I think.
No, that's horrible. That sounds awful.
That should not be allowed.
You turn it off then? Like
I don't know.
That would
just close your eyes.
Yeah. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
So how would that work from a sensory type thing? How do the eyes control whether or not you're shutting off hearing somebody's thought?
I don't know. You have to figure it out.
Go with it.
I'm just the ideas right here.
You have to cover your eyes.
We'll leave that up to the scientists.
Close your ears. Yeah, cover your ears too. Yeah.
I hope I live a long time, but I hope I am gone before that happens.
Yeah. It's just I guess in some instances, but yeah, I think for my personal self-esteem, it would probably be better that I didn't know what other people were thinking.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that because a lot of the songs I think on this album have to do with that, right? Like some of them at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, with just like technology overall and like, I think you talk about touch a little bit on it in, When the Dead Come Back, right? With like kind of just like losing some part of yourself or like, kind of frustrated with the way things are going. Things could have been like differently, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think, well, I don't know if you want to explain like the whole concept of the album. You could probably explain it better.
Yeah,
I can, right?
So, well, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, you could do it. You can give it a shot. It's sort of a concept, right?
It is sort of like Pat and I, well, I kind of floated the idea to Pat, and Pat was luckily into it. But it was a very grandiose like concept that I had in my brain that we kind of like cut down and like compacted a little bit, because I always like, me personally, I always like music that can tell a story. Growing up, I just love music, love literature, art, any form of art. And for me, music that tells a story is just, it kind of takes, just like a book would, like the listener away, and kind of lets them kind of be almost the main character, or lets them imagine like a different storyline or a different world that they're not used to. So I always had this itch that I wanted to scratch of creating a concept album. And I floated the idea to Pat, like, what if we did like a little concept album? Like, the idea would be that, aptly for the times, that the world would be ending, and that, this main protagonist would just be seeing all this stuff happen, and just kind of fuel him to want to leave, to want to venture out and explore either other worlds, or just search for life elsewhere. You know what I mean? Because the sense of life on Earth has kind of died off, and it's kind of, in a deeper way, a lot of what I think we're seeing now, not so much in a physical way, both physical and in a lot of other ways, I think, too.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely capture that with the names of the songs. I think the artwork, from what I've seen, with the astronaut, it's definitely got this like, I don't know, spacey, like esque type of feel to it, like a almost like the future. Like, what is the future? New future.
Yeah. We definitely, the concept that and I don't think it started out that way, right, Pat? Like, Drive Away.
No, not really. Like, we kind of built the songs around it. Like, Drive Away kind of just like, I think it just kind of fell into place within the concept, because like this EP is called Departures, and we named it that because like all of the songs are like about kind of just leaving something behind you. So it's kind of like the first stage. I think we're planning on like doing it in multiple EPs. This is like the beginning of it. Like, this guy is just like, it's like the end of the world. He's just like leaving everything behind him. And I almost picture it in my head like that movie Into the Wild. Have you ever seen that with Emil Hirsch, where he's just like
movie?
He's just it's I guess it's a true story. Like, and he's just this kid. He's like disgusted with society, and he just kind of goes off into the woods to live by himself. No money, like no anything. He's trying to survive. That's almost how I picture the character in these songs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think, like, and use the word like disgust with like society and everything like that. I think even though a lot of these songs, if you listen to them, are like very upbeat sounding songs, there's like a darkness to them, and I think Pat tried to do that too, with like a juxtaposition from the lyrics to like the music that was happening around it, because there is a lot of like kind of anger and disgust just with pretty much about everything in these songs. You know what I mean? Probably more so disgust and just kind of like the way things are going, or the direction that they're heading,
Right. And I did notice that the songs, like aside from Drive Away, they're much different than Drive Away, for sure. And you kind of said they're more upbeat. I did notice that.
Yeah.
So like the actual original concept that I had was like way out there bananas. Like it had this, like I had the whole story in my head.
I think we could still go into some of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
there was like space monsters and stuff.
There was. I had this. It was like, it's insane. But
that's why I think it's cool that this is like just the first like chapter, kind of. You know.
Yeah.
Like this EP is like chapter 1. You know.
Right. So like the original concept was he was going to go into outer space. He was going to be in this spaceship, and there was going to be something that would happen on the spaceship, whether it be like a mutiny or, I kind of went with the concept of a mutiny, and like the crew kind of tosses this astronaut out into like deep space just by himself, just to like, run out his oxygen and die. And then he would be met by this like Leviathan type creature out in space that kind of is like Jonah and the Whale, kind of like a kind of riff on Jonah and the Whale, where this creature kind of swallows him out in space. And he's kind of living inside the belly of this creature and kind of goes insane. He loses track of how long he's in there, and thinks he's going to die basically. And the creature ends up kind of spitting him out and releasing him on this new planet. But the planet, he thinks, is, he takes his mask off and he can breathe, and he thinks it spits him back out on Earth. But he comes to find that, he spit him out onto like a new planet, and, he's kind of washed up in this, ocean there on this new planet by himself, has to kind of fend for himself. So there's like a huge, like,
repopulate the planet.
Yeah, like there's like this,
or populate it,
whacked out storyline that I don't know why I had like just written in my head that we really wanted to do, but I think we found it too hard to do. And not only did we find it too hard to do, I think we didn't want it to be like almost like a Coheed and Cambria, like where it's like right on the nose, like, hey, here's a comic book that goes along with this album that we just came out with. You know what I mean? Like we wanted it to be more obscure in the fact where, like, if somebody is listening to the album, they could kind of put their own emotions or their own feelings or take away whatever they want from the song, and as opposed to being like, oh, this is about like this story that's happening.
In case they haven't ever been swallowed by a space monster.
I don't know if you have, but
not today. Not today. So the songs on the EP, do they kind of go
by a space monster? Have you, Pat? Okay.
Well, I have, but I don't know if everyone can.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought I was the only one.
What else is in that beer that you got there? What are you doing?
This in my beard or in my beard?
Oh, both. I mean,
you're in
both. And what do you got hiding in the beard and the beer? Like you're talking about space monsters and getting up, and you guys are going deep.
You got a troll in that beard?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got.
I think I see Poppy, Queen Poppy, in that beard.
I got some Molly in this beard. I'm just every now and then when you see just like a little beard Pez dispenser.
At least we know. I'm not in the right mind frame for this one tonight.
Listen, you got to step your game up. You came with some hardcore players. We got the equipment. We're ready to talk about space monsters swallowing people whole.
I don't think I brought enough beer down here for this conversation.
This is going to be your longest podcast yet. It's going to be 3 hours long. It's going to end with me without my shirt. Pat is going to be playing songs live. This is going to be the most ridiculous podcast you've ever done.
You did ask about pants, so I don't know. I'm afraid to ask. Or are you not wearing pants?
Absolutely not. This is
awesome.
Casual Friday.
It is Friday. Jesus. I mean, the songs on the EP, do they kind of like, do they tell a story going from track 1 to I think 5 or 6?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they all kind of like fit into that same kind of idea of this guy's just leaving everything behind him. And like even like Drive Away was the first song we did, and we didn't really have the story in mind when we even made that song.
No.
But it kind of like fits perfectly. Like in my head, like Drive Away is the last song on the EP, and that's him like driving away, like off into space. You know what I mean? Like the first 4 are like the build up to that, like he's leaving, and then hopefully on the next EP we could figure out a way to pick up the story.
I love the idea that you're going to kind of do this, have this EP tell a story and then it kind of be continued in the next. Because people make albums, they make them, they record them, they put them out, and then it's like kind of like the next one is completely different. It's just like whatever. I think it's neat that you're doing this kind of like, I don't say storyteller, but like this, like it's kind of like a cool thing as a band, I think, to kind of have as like a goal for the next, like, all right, in this EP we covered this, like now let's go here with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different doing it that way because to me in my head it doesn't like make things stale, because I feel like if you're telling a story or if you have more of a story to tell, like once a band comes out with an album, they're like, okay, this is the album, how are we going to top that album? And it's kind of like always like kind of scratching their head, like coming up with writing and stuff like that. But if you already have kind of a structural idea of like how you want the story to go, then you can just like create the songs based off of that, and they can come out however way you want. Like that's what I think is great about Departures, is because each song is completely different than the next. You have a 2-minute song in there, you have a 4-minute song in there. Like Pat and I were talking, this whole EP is like 15 minutes. That's like a drive to work for most people. So, I just think that having that structure to base songs around, you can come up with like pretty much anything you want. Like if you want this song to be a pop song or this song to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it also gives you more subjects to write about rather than if you're just writing a song, like just trying to make a catchy song. There's not like there's only so many different things you could sing about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So having a storyline, like, and kind of like a strange storyline like that, like just it totally broadens the things you can sing about it.
Right.
And it's kind of, it's got to be kind of exciting to like, I mean, I'm not even in the band, and I'm like, I can picture myself getting excited to write the next song or, tell the next story. So that's neat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like, how is this? You don't have to like write for, like how Pat said, like, you don't have to write for try to write a catchy song. It could just be like, okay, this song is going to sound like this because this character is feeling like this at the moment, at this point in time in the story. You know what I mean? And kind of base the songwriting off of the way the characters feel moving along, which I think could be potentially cool. Like, looking forward ahead to the rest of the songs that we'll be writing. So.
And how did you get the name Goodnight Captain?
You can take that one, Stefan.
You want me to take?
Yeah.
There's a lot of jibber jabber. All right. I don't even remember. I know we came up with a list of names, right?
We were going for the space theme from the beginning.
Yeah. Yes. It was after Drive Away that we kind of like thought of the concept, and then I think from there, then we wanted a name that was kind of like spacey, right? So we came up with a list of names, and we kind of went back and forth for a few days, maybe about a week or so. Goodnight Captain was on the list, and we thought that name, that title, kind of fit with the storyline that we were trying to tell. Kind of fit with the whole concept of, this astronaut who, is a leader, who's trying to be a leader and forging ahead, leaving the planet to find a better life, kind of like a send off, you know what I mean? Like almost like that, thank you and good night, like signing off, good night, that type of thing. So we kind of just like that, concept of, this is your captain signing off, and then all of a sudden like radio silence, that type of thing,
And it also opens the door for our kids themed side project called Good Morning Captain.
Good Morning Captain.
Yeah. Kids songs.
I really like that idea. I think we should move forward with it.
Yeah,
definitely should. The possibilities are endless. Do you guys listen to Angels and Airwaves at all?
I've listened. I'm not really a big fan, but
that's that's funny you brought that up, because I never really had listened to them before, and like 2 days ago I was listening to their album. But so,
well,
I
mean, he's big into space and
yeah,
the storytelling, and I think this is Tom DeLonge. For those of you who don't know who Angels and Airwaves is,
but you know what? Yeah, it was funny though that you say that, because like when we first started doing this, I was like listening to a lot of Blink-182 just to try and figure out how me and Stefan could have a dynamic like they do, because they have two singers.
Yeah. And
that was like one of the things like that I was kind of wanted to have in this. I was like, you gotta, take half the singing on it, because I felt like it would give it more of a different vibe than my solo stuff. And like the other stuff that we've done together in the past, like Blinded Passenger and Losing Caulfield.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started listening to a lot of Blink-182 just to see like how, and like other bands too, with like two singers, like just to see how they handle the dynamic of two guys, going back and forth and, trading off vocals. So it's interesting that you brought that up.
Thank God you said two guys going back and forth, trading off vocals at the end there. Because if you just left it at two guys going back and forth,
going back and forth.
What the dynamics like, two guys going back and forth.
I mean, you guys are a lot closer than you lead off to believe, because it's like, oh yeah, we're in a band now, but like we've been in a band for 20 years, and they're talking about going on vacation with each other's families, and like, man, these guys are really close. Now you're talking about going back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll save that for the next EP.
That's the next story. These two spacemen get real.
Yeah. Meets another lone spaceman out there.
How long have you been
lonely out there?
It's been so long.
I think you guys should just write the next album. Leave me out of it. You guys got...
Yeah, just like... I just picture these two spacemen, just like they've been alone for like 3 or 4 years.
Just need that human touch.
A human touch, exactly.
Yeah, and then they just clunk helmets together.
Exactly, like without even like, they're trying to stop.
Yeah,
Let's do the cone heads. Remember cone heads when they put the cones together?
That was weird. I haven't seen that movie in probably 30 years. Oh man.
Oh, so man, what else do we have to talk about with this?
It's funny. You're talking about different bands, and I always say I don't like to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. And that is kind of comparing or listening to the songs and kind of saying, well, I hear a little bit of this in these songs, just to give people a kind of a comparison, I guess.
Yeah.
But I hate doing that, because I also don't want to like offend you by saying, oh, I hear this in this band, and you're like, oh, that fucking band sucks. I hate that band. I don't want to sound like that band ever again.
I'm already offended. It's okay.
But I So the vibe I get from some of these songs are like late 90s, early 2000s.
Good years.
Yeah, they're great years. I love them. And I hear a little bit of the Flaming Lips, especially in Pat's vocals. I think Pat's vocals are a little more controlled. But yeah, I mean, specifically the song, She Don't Use Jelly.
Really?
Have you heard that song before?
No.
I think I have heard that song before. I'm not big into the Flaming Lips, but I think that's one of their more popular songs.
You know what? That's funny. Like every time, like somebody, usually when somebody like makes a comparison, like it's like somebody like we like never heard.
Yeah.
I not that I never heard of the Flaming Lips, but like they're not like a band that I,
that's on our radar.
Yeah.
Well, this song I think came out specifically in '93, and the only reason I remember that is because I remember. Well, I went back last night and looked it up because I remember my cousin, who's probably like 4 or 5 years older than I am. We used to get together every summer, and he was like, "I'm the oldest out of my family as far as brothers are concerned." So he was like my big brother, and like I idolized him, you know. I remember him being at my house, and MTV was on, and the song that I just mentioned by the Flaming Lips came on, and he's like, "This is a great fucking song." I'm like, there's that moment is kind of just like burned in my memory. So I just kind of revisited that last night after I was sent the EP from you guys, and I heard I think it was The Ashes, is what kind of gave me that vibe, and so I kind of dug back into the Flaming Lips and relived some of my childhood years.
That's awesome. See, I think that's great because I love music that like gets me to like start digging back to like, hey, remember when I used to listen to this?
Yeah.
Like not so much like it could be like absolute garbage, but it you go back and listen to it, and like now you think it's garbage, but back then you were just like so into it, and it's that like that trigger of like nostalgia that's like awesome. You know what I mean? Like I love music that can do that and kind of transport you back to like a certain place and a certain time. And so
I mean that's for music for me, man. Like I absolutely love music. I just I can't remember when I started listening to it and like just enjoying it so much. But so I have this like useless gift, and I can tell you like when certain songs like came out based on like kind of like within like 2 weeks. Like I could like that Angels and Airwaves album came out, I think 2006. I want to say May or June. Their first album came out. Want to look it up?
Sure.
Let's look it up. Let's look it up.
Google that.
First Angels and Airwaves album. Their first album.
Yeah.
I was digging that though. I was checking that out the other day. I'm like, 15 years behind.
I like his concept, like the conceptual stuff that he has behind it. I just could never get into like the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that the last true Blink album, which was the self-titled album.
That was the one I was listening to when I was trying to figure out how two guys can go back and forth.
Was that 2003?
I think so. Let's
look it up.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're on Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah, this says January 1st, 2006. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
it's 06. I know the year. I'm not buying the January 1st though.
A lot of them say January 1st.
Yeah, so that's bogus. Let's go to Google. Google doesn't lie. This is great audio for listeners, right?
So what was that?
You're right with Blink too. That's freaky.
I want to say that was September.
September
I want to say
2003.
Yeah,
good. It's a good month.
You're close.
My birthday. That was.
I'll give you 2 more guesses.
It's not September.
No.
Damn it.
November.
I was like November 4th.
18th.
Ah, damn it.
Oh.
All right. It's within 2 weeks.
But still, I mean, you got the year.
Yeah.
So my useless gift, useless knowledge is just like I attach moments of my life to music. That's how I can remember when these things happen, because I can remember going to the Joe Nardrone's Gallery of Sound, getting the album. I can remember like walking through the aisles, grabbing it, looking at it, like buying it, going home, opening it up, looking through the book and all that kind of stuff. And what sucks about how like, and I don't know how you guys feel about technology and where we are with music. There's two things in play here. Like I don't like those memories for me no longer exist because my head is filled with too much shit these days. It's, work. It's, Blippi. I'm sure you guys can appreciate Blippi and Peppa Pig and all this other shit. Like my, like this, the room in my brain left for fun is like very, very small. Plus, like back in the day when I was, when these albums came out, like I was young, I was like, I was single. So like I was able to attach those moments with like, the just randomness of life, and now, you guys can probably understand too. Again, like you're married, you have kids, and that's like, not that every day is the same because you have children and every day is very different, but it's also much the same. So yeah, so like my strange, ability is to be able to, know when songs and CDs came out, 15, 20 years ago. And I can also typically guess a song within the first like 10, 15 seconds.
I love playing that game. Before
the vocals kick in usually. And if sometimes I need the vocals. But real quick before I forget, the song When the Dead Come Back reminds me of the band The Hold Steady.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit. Here too. I haven't listened to much of them, but what is there a particular song that you're thinking, or just the overall vibe of that song?
Just I think the vocal delivery is what kind of got me with that. And then the album that I'm kind of thinking about for that particular band, it's an older one, probably from 2006 or so. The Hold Steady, if I could type. Boys and Girls in America from 2006. How about that?
I'm gonna go back and listen to some of this stuff. Usually when somebody says something like that, and then I go back and listen to it, I'm like, oh man, I like this. Like,
yeah,
I remember some like early in like Losing Caulfield days, somebody said something like it reminded them of Bright Eyes, and so I was like, who's Bright Eyes? And then I went back and listened to him, and I was like, holy shit! Like, and he became one of my favorite songwriters after that. So,
Pat, something that's funny that I thought about you. I don't know if it's just your name, and please don't take offense to this, but like the name Patrick McGlynn, and even some of your like your music, you have almost like an old soul vibe.
Okay,
it's an old soul.
But you're not old.
Yeah, no, 34.
You're young.
Yeah,
but like I hear Patrick McGlynn, I'm like, oh, he's probably like 45.
The old man trapped inside.
He's probably 45.
What time is it? Pat, past your bedtime.
That's been my problem. I need a stage name.
Yeah. Well, you gotta go by Pat. Pat. You gotta go by Pat. Yeah. No more Patrick. We're gonna like revamp.
Pat, how about Pat Blaze?
There you go. Like that's a porn name right there. Pat Blaze.
So much fuel for
two guys back and forth. Pat Blaze.
That could be the title of the album.
No, I think we just come up with the name of our lead character. And
there you go. Spaceman Pat Blaze.
Pat Blaze.
And then the second one that comes in,
all the other astronauts.
Yeah. And then the one that comes and meets them is I don't know. How can we make your name fun?
Who? What?
Your name. We gotta make your name fun. I mean, with Stefan, like that's already like cool.
Yeah. Maybe just ditch the last name. Just
Stefan.
He's going to meet Stefan.
Pat Blaze and
Pat Blaze. Kitty Pride.
Oh man.
Pat Blaze meets Steffi Soggy Bottoms and outer space.
I need more beer.
I do too. But the thing is, you guys
want to take a break? I'll solo this shit over here.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
just-
I'm ready to roll.
fill it in with something. Actually, Pat, why don't you? This would be a good opportunity because I can get up, I can get a beer. Because
I'll talk to Pat.
It's within arm's reach at the fridge there, but I didn't lay it out in front of me like you guys did because I don't have a cooler and I didn't want it to get warm. So I have to literally take my headphones off and go to the fridge. So Pat, talk about the influences, some of the influences we did have in mind for some of the songs.
Okay.
Yeah, you can let him like dictate what to do.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to talk about the influences.
I guess
I'm going to talk about all the stuff that didn't influence.
Is he the big spoon in this relationship? Like, what's going on here? Is he the power?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm going to put a stop to this.
Is he a power bottom, or is there a power? How does that work? I forget.
And I'm back. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, well, we didn't appreciate your dictatorship of telling Pat what to do.
Kim Jong over there.
Yeah, we didn't talk about anything regarding.
Pat, you have to, shoulder some of the load here. You have to
the load, right? You gotta shoulder the load.
Hey. Unintended.
Pat Blaze doesn't shoulder any loads.
God. Oh, that was a soft lob, and you nailed it out of the park, sir.
There's another one, soft lob.
Talking about soft lob. Speaking of soft lobs, Pat, can you... I'm having too much fun over here, guys.
Hit that Molly again.
Did you hit the... Okay, there we go. We're all good now. Did you touch on any of the influence at all?
No.
You were gone for like 5 seconds.
I know. But like, can we even start a conversation?
We didn't even have time. We were talking about big spoons, and I guess you were the big spoon to Pat.
Or I'm the big spoon? Pat made me the big spoon.
No, you made yourself the big spoon by dictating over there.
This is how it is when we're writing music, too, oddly enough. The big spoon? Why are you always dictating what the song should be?
To be the fly on a wall. In those sessions.
What were some of our influences here?
I think, so back to what Popko was saying about, When the Dead Come Back, I think for that song, I don't know if it was intentional, but for me, it's very Smashing Pumpkins-esque.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No.
Actually, with that guitar riff, I was going for that like opening guitar riff. I was kind of going for like almost like it didn't really come out sounding like it, but like a sort of like a Nirvana-ish vibe.
Yeah,
with like the notes, but I mean, sonically, it doesn't really sound like that. But yeah, definitely, I think it definitely came out sounding very Smashing Pumpkins ish.
Yeah, I actually, when we were writing that song, I listened to a lot of like just pretty much on repeat 1979, and there's so much cool stuff going on in that song. I don't know if you've ever like kind of like just listened to it, but like there's so many different like weird cool things that are going on in that song that I never really, because that song like aired on MTV when I was in either middle school or high school, and I remember the video for it, and it was like
that was 95 that album came out. Yeah, see, I got some
all right, let's check, because that album, I remember I bought that album. That was a double disc, right?
Yeah. That's one of my all-time favorite albums.
And not to cut you off, but I bought that at Kmart, and then I had to buy one of those like CD towers that had like
double slot.
Yes.
You only got a couple of those too, I think.
Only a couple, yeah. Like I think there's like one in each. There was like a circle one. It had like 3 towers built in. Yeah, I only got like 3 total like slots there.
That actually, talking about that Smashing Pumpkins album, I think I've talked to you about this before, Stefan. That that is like pretty much what like made me want to start playing guitar. Like I remember watching Bullet with Butterfly Wings video.
Yeah.
In my living room. Like I like vividly remember just standing in the middle of the living room watching the TV to that video. And like I was
95.
blown away. And that's kind of like
listening to Tonight was for me was like,
oh yeah.
I remember taking it to my grandparents' house because like I don't know what year, like what time of year that came out, but that's my grandparents' house, and yeah, listening to them in my grandparents' basement because they had a CD player back then, and having that was like awesome.
And that's like another thing that I think, like these songs are kind of like in that kind of same vein. Like if you listen to that album, every song is like a different vibe. Like from songs, like it starts off with like this like piano intro as the first song.
Yep.
Then Tonight comes in, and then the next song is Jelly Belly, I think. And it's like just like this hard rock song. And it's just like the whole album is like that. It's like every song is like a different vibe. I love that about it.
Well,
you're right. Jelly Belly is next, yeah.
They put that sound pretty much on the map, like with I think it was, I remember an interview with Billy Corgan, and if I remember correctly, he said he wanted to sound kind of like Nirvana, like that dirty sound, and he was searching for it, and all of a sudden he found this pedal at this guitar shop. It was the Big Muff, what ended up being the Big Muff Pi, but it was like they have all these different versions and series of them, and that's what, like on Siamese Dream, like what you hear on that album is the Big Muff, the fuzz pedal sound, and just like everything from there, like having that huge like guitar sound, you know what I mean, is just awesome. I think we covered Bullet with Butterfly Wings a bunch of times.
Back in the middle school days.
Yeah.
We used to jam it.
Rock the hell out to that song.
Pet Natos, West Side.
DPs.
Well, I mean, talk about playing out together. I mean, I don't think you've been able to play out with this project, have you?
No, we haven't. Well, at first we were like kind of not even considering it because the idea, like before we decided to recruit Stefan's brother Nick and have him play drums, the idea was just to do this like super electronic sounding thing, which is kind of like the first version of Drive Away that we put out. It was very electronic, like electronic drums and sounds and whatnot. And we were kind of just like, to pull this off live, we need, probably a few more people to pull it off. And, we'd have to do a lot of stuff with the, backing tracks, probably, I imagine. But
yeah, we'd probably have to have like a somebody that's either on keyboards or programming, and then also somebody doing, probably multiple guitars. I think
now though, the way we recorded, the rest of the songs, I feel like, we could probably pull them off live.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much dead anyway right now. So
yeah, well, I mean, I hate talking about this with bands because it's been a shitty year for everyone, but specifically musicians too. Like, how what do you guys think about all this? Like, this is like really shitty.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely I play cover gigs and stuff on the weekend, and
it's affected you a lot
more
so than it has me, because you're, established, playing out solo and stuff. So
yeah, but I mean, it does suck to lose all the gigs. But I feel like, people are going to start and I feel like right now, like places are starting to figure it out, how to make it work, and hopefully it's going to be, coming to an end relatively soon. But yeah, it definitely has sucked, losing all those gigs.
Yeah.
And touching on that, I think that's what kind of the the album, like we wrote the majority of that album or this EP pretty much in quarantine, like pretty much frustrated and angry and like, you know, with that kind of mentality. And you can kind of hear it in a lot of the songs on the EP, especially with the song that we'll be playing, The Ashes. You kind of even like hint to that in your lyrics almost, right, Pat?
Yeah, well, that's kind of like a coincidence almost. I thought about that afterwards. Like I sing about like being locked inside, and that's. I was like, oh man, that's kind of cool that it. Like I really wasn't thinking of that when I wrote that. Like that song actually, it's so weird the way that started. Like I was thinking about in the one lyric in the song. It's so I'll bang my head on the window pane like all the other flies. And that's literally how the song started. Like I was thinking of like when a fly's like trying to get out a window and just keeps banging into the window. And like, I was like, well, that's kind of a cool metaphor for, being trapped in something, in anything, you know what I mean? Like this little fly, you could see where he wants to be through the window, but he just keeps banging his head every time he tries to get out.
Yeah. It doesn't know why he can't get out. He just can't get out.
I like that.
So then I kind of like formed it around the idea of people being sort of trapped by money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like okay, I see that now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's, if you listen to like the verses, like, the idea was like everyone spent so much time worrying about like money that like they're almost like a slave to just the idea of it, and then you're not paying attention to like all the stuff that deserves attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though, it's important to survive, but it seems like our society, it's such a focus on money and like obtaining stuff. Like,
yeah.
So it's kind of like what the message behind that song was, but
yeah, it always has been, but I just feel like now, and I don't know, you probably, tell me if I'm wrong, but it just feels more intensified now. Right?
I think definitely like you guys know, like I'm like when you become like a parent and as you get older, like that the pressure to provide for other people, and I think it gets more intense.
Yeah,
it doesn't get easier, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, I mean, people are really kind of reevaluating how they live. And I think it goes to what you were saying, Pat, about money and accumulating stuff and what you're buying and how you're living. The pandemic has definitely changed how people do those things.
Yeah.
I remember thinking I wanted to live smaller when this all hit. And then instead of doing that, my wife and I bought a bigger house.
Yeah.
But it was like, we might be in this for a long time. Let's buy something we can fit in. So
yeah.
That's a great way of thinking. Nobody knew how this was all gonna shake down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Later on. So, but
I remember initially when we were both working from home, I mean, it was we had to adapt for sure because our house at the time wasn't that big, and we had a 2.5-year-old, and I'm sure you guys get how that is. It's like it's not ideal to but
craziness.
Yeah, I mean, how are you guys affected by that? Are you guys like still working from home, or what do your lives look like?
Well, we were both of us were kind of fortunate. We were able to keep working.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I lost some gigs, but fortunately I have another job, and Stefan, he was able to keep working too.
Yeah.
I feel bad for like there's a lot of musicians that only gig. You know what I mean? And like that's their main income. So luckily,
it's tough. It's tough too. Like to think about how musicians, that's their only, like, main source of income, and how, they're kind of already, before COVID, when, they would go out and play, it would be like trying to fight for, a digital presence, like, so to speak, you know what I mean? Like, to like get people to come out to shows, get people to like listen or watch like live feeds and everything like that. And now that this happened and everybody's home, nothing to do, nowhere to go, it's even more like, I feel that area just got flooded. You know what I mean? So it's even more people fighting for a digital presence, and to be heard, and to be, to make a living, you know what I mean? Which is it's crazy to see.
Yeah, living like this is weird. It's so cool that we have the opportunity to, you guys recorded your own record, right? Or your own EP, which is awesome. I have a podcast, and I have no business having a podcast, but I have one. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on all these platforms, right? But going on to what you're saying is like it's oversaturated. Like, everyone is out there doing something. Thankfully, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing it for fun because I like to do it. It sounds like that's what you guys are. You're enjoying the whole creative process, and you're not doing it to make a living, but
right.
It's kind of a crazy world that we live in.
Yeah. No, we're definitely, I mean, we're fortunate because we are definitely doing this just for fun. Pat and I have been creating music for, like Pat said, almost like 20 years, maybe even more. And, we have fun creating music together. And this is just us having fun creating more music that is kind of set apart and different from the music that we've created in the past. And we have, not really much intention of like making a profit or doing anything like that. We wanted to make something that we really loved it. And we use this term starting out, like almost treating the project as a labor of love. And it really is, like, because we love music and we love to share music and to share what we like to listen to. And, we love to hear other types of music. So this really for us was just like, we wanted to create something that we could kind of share to the world, to whoever, it may find along the way. And hopefully it finds some people that it connects with, and they enjoy it and they like it. And that's really the only, reason I had in creating this and doing more music.
Yeah. I think it's cool too that, it kind of gives you a little more freedom. Like, not that we ever had like obligations in the past as a band, but I mean, like in past bands, in the back of your mind, you're always like, oh man, we got to make like a catchy song. We could get some more fans, get people out, we're trying to appeal to something, you know what I mean? Whereas this project, it's a little more, we can be like, if it feels like we're being a little more free with it. Like, we don't really care about, if something's, super catchy.
Yeah, it doesn't cater. We're not trying to cater to anyone. We're just trying to.
It's more about just trying to make like something as creative as we can,
Yeah, exactly. Something, writing music that we love to listen to, that hopefully finds its place with other people that like to hear, similar music. So.
And that's a great space to be in. I mean, like, you're doing it for you. You're doing it because you love it, and wherever it goes, it goes. So I mean, I think that's as a musician, I think that's a great place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
So EP comes out March 5th. What's next for you guys? Do you have plans to start writing new songs for the next one? Are they already in the process? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, I'd say definitely, we want to start writing some new stuff again. nothing really in the works yet, but yeah. I'd like to get to work and right on the next one. I don't know, how about you, Stefan?
This one, this one, these 5 songs, like we talked about before, took like 2 years to write because Pat and I are kind of in the same mind when it comes to like being perfectionists or being not so much perfectionists, but like critical of ourselves, I guess. So like I
think we were also getting our footing with, doing the home recordings too.
Yeah. Because Pat, so we recorded this. So Pat, we didn't even touch on this, which is crazy to me, but Pat would record an idea. He would send it to me via email. He would record it into Logic Pro, send it to me. I would then download it onto my computer, upload it into Logic Pro on my end, and then we would build the songs back that way, almost like a postal service, if you will, like emailing ideas back and forth to each other, and then we would just embellish, and the song would build from there. And it took us like 2 years pretty much working on these 5 songs, right?
Yeah.
I think it took that long too, because midway through we realized that we wanted, we were gonna see if my brother could contribute some drum tracks, live drum tracks, to which we recorded ourselves as well. And Drive Away, for instance, was kind of sounded almost completely different because we added some nuanced drums along with like a regular drum track to that. So it sounds completely different from the previous version that we already released on Spotify. So there was just like a lot of stuff and a lot of ideas that we were bouncing back and forth. And it took 2 years. And I think moving forward, hopefully it doesn't take as long, because now we kind of nailed down a process. Pat has taken over mastering. That's something that we didn't even really consider or know about prior to this. Over the holiday season, Pat downloaded, a mastering program, and it was something that was like, to us, it was like, oh, do we even really need to have this? Do our songs need to be mastered or anything? And he took over that.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, that was painstaking, because I talk about us knowing kind of, just Pat knowing that something isn't right to him. And this is something we talked about on the phone the other night. Just knowing that something isn't right and that it's there just bothers him. And I'm the same way. Even if it gets lost in the mix or gets lost in the track, and the, everyday, listener can't pick up on it, just knowing that it's there, like, bugs the hell out of me. It bugs the hell out of him. So I think that's why it took so long too to come out with these 5 tracks, because we just obsessed over them for so long and wanted to nail them perfect, wanted it to sound just well put together. So now that we have that process down, hopefully it doesn't take as long with the next phase. I've kind of jotted down, like scribbled down some scratch ideas and some lyrics and stuff where I'd like to kind of
mail them to me.
I will.
All right.
I'll text them to you.
You got me?
Later on.
Right.
Yeah. It involves Pat Blaze and Steffi Soggy Bottoms. And they meet on a tropical island. And well, listen, this is not the time nor the place to be talking about this.
I'll save it.
But no, I have some ideas, and I'm going to share them with Pat, and I know that like it's going to be the same process. We're just going to bounce stuff off each other and continue, hopefully, to make songs that we love to make.
2 guys going back and forth.
We're just 2 guys
where it all started,
back and forth.
Where it all started
about it.
And where can people find you guys going back and forth?
You want
to do like can we start like an alternate podcast? You guys going back and forth.
Where can people find the two of you going back and forth?
Right now you can hear Drive Away on Spotify. We also have Drive Away on a Bandcamp page along with Outer Space.
It's an unofficial Bandcamp page.
It is an unofficial Bandcamp?
No, I don't know. I was making that up.
Is it? It's my personal Bandcamp page, SteffiSoggyBottoms.bandcamp.com. But yeah, Drive Away, Outer Space, and I think a cover of a Say Anything, or not Say Anything, Saves the Day song that we did, Rocks Tonic Juice Magic, is also on that Bandcamp page too. So that was something that me and Pat did that we, I think we were, how did that come about? We were talking about Saves the Day the one day, how that story about how we both discovered Saves the Day.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you shot me an email. He's like, and he's like, oh, here's something I did. And he pretty much covered Rocks Tonic Juice Magic. And I was like, this is awesome. Can I add to it? And we kind of went back and forth there.
Yeah.
That was actually before any of these other songs were kind of conceived. We did that.
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned Save the Day because I was literally just listening to those guys today.
Nice.
What
album?
The Stay What You Are album.
Nice.
Great album.
Yeah, that was that was this summer. It came out the summer I was going into college. I think it was came out in August or July 2001.
Hold that thought, please. I'm going to
Google it. But yeah, I remember that was just another definitive moment of my life just because I think it's July. But
it was July. What year did you say?
01.
Yes, you are correct.
Oh,
useless knowledge.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the album before that, Through Being Cool, was an album that me and Pat kind of discovered together. And it's actually a funny story. We would, did both of us visit Hot
Topic? Yeah, it was in the player at Hot Topic.
It was in the player at Hot Topic. Now people would cringe at putting on headphones worn by other people.
Yeah, about it.
Specifically in this time. But back then we lived in a time where other people shared headphones at a shopping mall and could listen to albums. I'm telling this to people in the future.
This is amazing, right? Let's fast forward 20 years from now, right? You're like, wait a minute, you went to shopping malls and you put on the same headphones as other people and listen to music?
You have to be doing this.
And we wore pants with zippers all over them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pants with zippers all over them? You mean jeans that were 5 times bigger than what you need to be wearing?
Some Jinkos.
Jinkos, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, me and Pat went into Hot Topic religiously and would just listen to Through Being Cool without buying it, purchasing it, mind you. Because we weren't the type to steal, because that's just wrong and bad.
That's right.
Steal things. In case there's any young kids listening. But we would go and visit just simply to listen to that album. And then one day I remember Pat bought that album. I'm like, no way, you bought that album? He's like, yep, sure did. And he played it, cranked it in his mom's living room. And we just listened to it. And I was just like, I have to buy that album then. And I think the next day or either that weekend, I went out and I bought that album. I was like, oh, Pat has this album. I have to have this album because we were both coming here specifically to listen to it. So
how do kids today, how are they going to, you just explained a great moment in your lives where you were at the mall and listening to this music and then he bought it and you had to buy it. How does this work in the future for kids?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was thinking of when you were talking about going and buying a CD at the Gallery of Sound, man. That's like there's nothing going to be like that, or there's not,
What are you gonna say? Remember that time I shared a song with you on Spotify?
Yeah. That's the thing. Everything is at your fingertips. Can you imagine? Like, I remember like when I was a kid, like waiting, like if I heard a song I liked, oh shit, I gotta save up like $15 so I can get the CD.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I used to fucking sit in front of that radio station.
Yeah.
Or a radio, rather, listening to a radio station with a fucking other like recording device to record the song that was playing on the radio. Like I had to like wait for it. Like fingers crossed they fucking play the song I want to hear today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It sucks that there's nothing like that. Like there's no anticipation for stuff like that. Like music coming out. Like
yeah. I mean,
everything is just spoon fed, and even if you don't want it, it's just shoved down your throat.
Goddamn kids.
I'm gonna do a rant. I'm gonna test. Can I test a rant out on you guys real quick before we wrap things up?
Test it. Just bring on the rant.
Here's the rant. Okay. So every generation keeps pointing the finger at the younger generation. Like, you guys are pussies or whatever the thing is, right? But who makes them that way? We do.
True.
Yeah.
We do. Look in the fucking mirror. It's me. It's you. So think about it. I remember when I was younger, I rode my bike to baseball practice. I rode it. It was probably 2 miles there, 2 miles back. And part of it was on a huge hill. So going to practice sucked because I had to ride my bike up it. But coming home was awesome because I was already beat after practice. Flying down, that was great. But no helmets. Who started the whole helmet thing? The generation before us. And the ones before them. You got to wear helmets. You got to do this. You got to do that. And granted, helmets are for safety. I get that. But think about, trunk or treats. I'm sure you guys are familiar with trunk or treats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we had one fucking day. We had Halloween. And if it rained or if it snowed, tough shit. You get one day, get the fuck out there, get your candy, come home, you get one day. Now it's
get the fuck out there.
This is great. Don't stop him. Go ahead.
So it's 2017. I'm driving through Main Street, Pittston. My wife is pregnant. Our son's due 2 months from now. And I remember this big advertisement for the trick or treat or the trunk or treat fucking whatever the hell. And I'm like, these fucking kids have been trunk or treating for 4 weeks. It's not even fucking Halloween yet. I said, my kid's never fucking doing that. He will never, ever, ever trick or treat for 4 weeks prior to fucking Halloween. And I laughed to myself like a minute after saying that. I'm like, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? If I say to my kid, hey, son, you can't go trunk or treating. Oh, your friends are doing it, but you can't. You're the fucking outcast. You're a fucking loser. So whose fault is it? It's our fucking fault. We are the ones contributing to the pussification of society. Amen. It's us. It's us. It's our fucking parents. It's their parents before them. It's not the younger generation that's doing it. It's us doing it to them.
Yeah,
that's my rant.
True.
Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me, because
no, I think I agree to an extent, because it's what you're saying is it's the kind of inhibiting them from doing such things kind of strengthens their urge to go out and do these things. And then they once they're like, oh, Dad never let me go to trunk or treats.
You can't be that dad.
God damn it. I'm going to bump this line of Coke right now.
You have a kid that, you send to school second week of February, or of October rather. And their other friends are talking about how they went to trunk or treats. And your kid's like, oh, my dad won't let me. Like, oh, fucking loser.
He told me to get the fuck out there and get that candy.
On one day.
Yeah.
One day.
That's
and we always want our kids to have a better life than we had, right?
Right.
But guess what? Our lives weren't that bad. Our parents' lives probably weren't terrible. Like, I mean, they lived through, I don't know how old you guys are, but like, I know my mom lived through the flood when she was younger. But like, it's not like we experienced living through a fucking world war, thankfully. Like,
Yeah.
Like our lives aren't that fucking hard. So like to give our kids a better life than what we had.
Yeah.
Where are we going here? Like,
yeah,
you get a fucking extra week of trunk or treating. Like, the fuck are we doing?
I definitely.
I'm pro trunk or treating.
You're part of the fucking problem. One fucking day, Pat. October 31st. If it's raining or snowing, too bad. Get the fuck out. Get the candy and come home.
You know what I always hated? You know, you got your Halloween costume and then you got to wear your winter jacket over the top of it.
Oh, yeah. It's part of the fucking experience.
Yeah.
Part of the experience.
I'd be like, I want to wear my costume.
You look like a right dick if you're wearing your coat over your Halloween costume.
Well,
you can't tough it out for like a couple of hours and just,
I had no say.
Well, guess what, Pat? Global warming is real. It's not even fucking. It's like 50 degrees in October.
Texans burning snowballs out there. Come on.
Did you see that? They're putting it in the microwave and it's fucking sparking and shit. They're thinking it's the government made snow.
My uncle is a Texan.
That was your uncle.
He's good. He's good. He did go without power for a while. But the rest of the family is doing good. Thankfully, he's not one of them contributing to the. He's probably like out there egging him on. He's like, "Oh, I got a pile of snow in the back you could burn." You know what I mean? Like, kind of just wink, wink, nudge, nudging them. But
can you believe this? They're fucking.
Yeah, he's definitely not one to be like, "Oh, this snowball is not burning correctly. It must be Bill Gates is dropping fairy dust on Texas right now." Like. And that's what I mean. Like, maybe it's a good thing, like you said before, that we can hear everybody's thoughts and know when they're lying, because everybody is so full of shit nowadays. Am I not right?
Well, I mean, that's another thing that's wrong with social media. I mean, everyone has a voice now, so it's good and bad. It's good because
you should not have one.
Right? Exactly. I mean, us three idiots are going to be thrown out to the internet world in a couple days.
I don't want to hear about Pat Blaze, then I can't do anything.
Pat Blaze,
man.
But no, I mean, like,
people don't even know what's
everyone coming. is now has a voice, and not everyone. Like, it's not that not everyone should have one, but like, what the problem is, the idiots always speak the loudest. So like, there's that whole fucking thing with people who are uninformed or just these fucking crazy people. Like, but again, we're more informed because of the internet, I think. But is it the right information? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that
you get one fucking day to trick or treat. If it's snowing or raining, get the fuck out there and get that candy. That's all you need to know.
That's right.
That's right.
I don't know. It's a weird world. I don't think we were ready for the internet.
No, I mean, and I'm gonna bogart this conversation just because I want to talk about the EP. Hey, we're promoting one, right? It's coming out when? The 5th?
March.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. So the one song that we wrote, AI, on the album, it kind of touches on that, and it's not like really necessarily talking about, for me anyway, the artificial intelligence that we have at our fingertips. It's pretty much for me, this song, like in my perspective, is artificial intelligence from a standpoint of a human capacity. Like, not that artificial intelligence is something that we possess. We are the artificial intelligence. Like, we have become the artificial intelligence. And that's where I was kind of coming from with that song, is because there's like we talked about seconds ago, there's so many people with opinions and voices and that aren't necessarily true. And there's no filter anymore. There's no, even the media, you look at, and there's no filter with them. They're just strictly for hits, strictly for
clicks.
Yeah, clickbaits, getting the listener, getting people to like view. Like you see how Facebook has that algorithm of like how long you stop and like read a preview of an article for like seconds. Like we have become like the artificial intelligence in my mind, because there's no more independent thought. We have everything that's thinking for us. Why?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So that's kind of where that song, like where I was coming from on that song in the album. Like it's kind of like almost, I wrote that kind of as a like a tongue in cheek type thing for the album. And me and Pat went back and forth because when I was writing it, I was like, I don't know how to end the song. Like I don't know what we could do. Like we ping pong back and forth for like what, like a week or so.
Yeah. That was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those things where we were like, we kept trying to think of, because it's kind of a short song, so we were like, all right, what's the next part? And it was just like, I think we were just like, let's just end it. Like it sounded right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just got to go with the feel.
Yeah, complete there. Like it was almost like that kind of punk rock kind of like, I'm just gonna cut it off here. Like I've said, type thing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Well, before I start ranting about other things that I probably shouldn't rant about, we'll wrap this up.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Hey, March 5th, Goodnight Captain EP is due out. So make sure you grab that on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Bandcamp, all the good stuff. Follow these guys you're on social media.
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
We tweet.
We don't. I think, are we on Twitter? I forget.
We're on Twitter. I'm going to be honest. We don't tweet that much.
I'm on Twitter. I don't. Yeah. That's another story. That's like the Wild
We're
West.
bringing back MySpace.
We should.
Yeah.
We should. You know what was great about MySpace? How passive aggressive you could be.
Yeah.
You know, like you're having a bad day, your fucking girlfriend breaks up with you, you fucking put your song, on the profile.
Right, exactly. You know, perfect. That was like a passive aggressive individual's like dream come true.
Yeah.
But also cool because like you can like go and see what your friend was listening to. And that's like how we were talking before, a new age of finding out new music. Like we would go to the mall, but
you know, it's funny. I remember when Facebook came out, and I was like, "Look at this thing trying to be like MySpace."
I said the same thing. What you at first? Do you remember this, Johnny? You had to be in college.
Yeah.
You remember that too? You had to be in college. Before you could enroll, and they accepted you in MySpace, and then it was this big thing. It was
Facebook.
Facebook opened up to everybody. You didn't have to just be in college. And
I didn't even hear about. I was on MySpace. I didn't even hear about Facebook. It was March of 2005. Me and like 7 or 8 friends were on spring break in Punta Cana, and we ran into another group, and they're like, "Oh, are you guys on Facebook?" And we're like, "What the fuck is Facebook?" Like, "Oh, it's this thing when you need a college email." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." They're like, "Oh, hit us up on Facebook after when you get home." There's a bunch of girls. We don't do the guy stuff like you guys do, but but no, I was like,
your wife should be listening to this podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like 16 years ago.
All right,
take it over that now, and we're fucked. But no, it's a group of girls. So like, but like, yeah, they're like, get us on Facebook when you get back. And it's like, what the fuck is Facebook? Yeah, you needed a college email.
Lady Gaga friend requested me on MySpace.
Get out of here!
Right on the cusp of Facebook. Yeah, I swear to God, I'm not lying. She friend requested me, and I was like,
"Did you accept?"
No, I was like, "Nah, I don't listen to that shit. Not accepting," and I didn't. And then she blew up, and I was like, "Nah."
Oh man, she could have been our ticket.
Opportunity. I went. You know what? I went on Craigslist and wrote about it.
Were you dating your wife at the time?
I was dating. I hope she listens. I was dating my wife at the time.
Well, back in MySpace days?
No. I wasn't dating. I didn't didn't even meet my wife at the time, back in the MySpace days.
Well,
But
maybe
you know what? I know you want to wrap this up, but I have a hilarious story of when I used to harass Max Bemis of Say Anything
great band.
via AIM. Remember AIM?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
How'd you get his screen name?
Yeah. How did you find it? How did you harass him on AIM? He's lying.
No, I swear to God. So I can't verify that it was him.
It was me. I had a screen name that said I am Max Bemis.
Yeah.
It was me the whole time.
No, there was I think he put his like AIM on his like Facebook or some shit like that.
No, because AIM didn't even exist when Facebook existed.
Yeah.
Did it?
Or it might have been I was harassing him on Facebook. Either way, the moral of the story is I try to like he was in like
You're the reason he went crazy.
I probably
Way to go. Thanks a lot.
So when he was writing, I used to listen to the Is a Real Boy, like back and forth to college, like religiously. Like that's how I like how Johnny, you talked about like you know, transporting yourself back in time and to like a specific place. Like that's me, like going back and forth, making the drive back and forth to college, just literally listening to Is a Real Boy on repeat back and forth. And I read stories of how like he was like kind of like just insane, like you just crazy, like manic depressive, like type personality disorder type person. And I would go and I would talk to him, and you know, he would be the reason I would know it was him is like I would, you know, text him like, hey, you know, things about the album, this and that and the other thing. He's like, hey, thanks, man, you know, this, that, the other thing. And the one time I just like must have like triggered something in him because he just like blocked me, didn't like talk to me anymore. Like I just like sent him over the deep end. And I don't know what it was. It was like I triggered something. I said something that must have pissed him off, and he just like completely like erased me, canceled me, if you will.
You were the first cancel culture experience.
I probably was. It's sad. through AOL Instant Messenger.
Canceled. Done. Man, what a world. What a world.
Well, listen, thanks.
I'm sure we can go on all night. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm actually out of here now.
It's bedtime, though.
Me too.
It's past. No, you are past.
Pat Blaze doesn't have a bedtime.
He's blazing all night. Well, he does. He's up all night.
Dad doesn't even care about nothing.
Nope.
Doesn't even care about nothing.
Well, guys, it was awesome to speak with you guys, and I'm excited for the new EP coming out. I think it's great. I've had the opportunity to listen to it. I'm looking forward to the next one and what you guys kind of put together with that. But like I said, yeah, I mean, I've played your music. I've talked to you guys online, but I never got to put a face to the name. So this has been a real pleasure. I learned more than I thought I would tonight.
I don't know.
Nice.
Not that I wanted to know, but I just learned a lot that I thought I wouldn't learn tonight. So,
all right, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for reaching out. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys, wanted to do this because it's a platform that I created because I wanted to do this. So hopefully, people listen and check it out, your music, and it's great. So we'll close things out. Goodnight, Captain EP is due out March 5th. Check it out, and we'll close things out tonight with a song off that EP called The Ashes. I keep saying The Ashes, so my website is called the Popko Project. So when I'm when I'm kind of enunciating like the Popko Project, I say the Popko Project. That's like a real asshole.
No, I think it's dignified.
Good. Yeah, it makes sense.
But the problem is
grandiose.
Oftentimes they're like, the popkoproject.com. Oh, okay, the popkoproject.com. Well, you have to make sure you put the in there. It's the. The.
I like that. I like the better.
I do like the.
It makes it more pronounced, I guess you could say. But I'm sorry. I'm getting off topic. I've been drinking and I want to have some more. This is all I have left. So
there we go.
Cheers to you guys. Cheers to the new EP.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm happy you guys sent it my way. And again, Goodnight, Captain. And this song is called The Ashes. See, I said The Ashes. Not The Ashes. The Ashes.